I'm Mary from the New Hanover County Public Library, and I'm here to talk about some great juvenile science fiction books for you to read. This is part one because there's so many great ones to read. I'm going to start with this one. This is, well, actually it's The Wild Robot. Forget The Wild Robot Escapes. This is book two because book one is checked out and it's by Peter Brown. Now, Roz is just your average everyday labor robot, except she wakes up, she comes out of her box, and she's on an island. Nowhere. There's nothing except wild animals. There are violent storms. There are dangerous bears. And then the next thing you know, she's raising a gosling. What is she going to do? Is she safe there? Is she safe anywhere? But this is a fun one. I believe that there are currently just two, but I have heard rumors of a third to come. This book is definitely a trilogy. It was the first book was written in 1967 by John Christopher. It's The White Mountains. It's part of the Tripod trilogy. Now, in this particular one, Will is about to be capped. You see, he's about to turn 13, and being capped is wonderful. That means you're adult, you're included in everything in this agrarian society, and the tripods tell them everything that they need to do, which is wonderful, or so Will thinks, until he meets Ozymandias and learns that there may be another way. But if he wants to experience this other way, he will have to go to the White Mountains. And that's quite an adventure. This is Space Station Rat by Michael J. Daly. Now, you will notice that this is not your normal brown rat, which should tell you something. It's actually a lavender rat. However, we really need to start. This book is about Jeff. Jeff is living on a space station with his parents. They just arrived there. Unfortunately, Jeff is the only kid on the entire space station. So he gets really excited when he gets this email asking, hey, do you want to be my pen pal? Do you like peanut butter? And suddenly he's not so lonely. But there's something unusual about his pen pal. And eventually he comes to figure it out, but I should also mention, completely unrelated, this lavender rat that I happen to mention doesn't trust humans, is having trouble finding food, and the lavender rat knows how to type. Enchantress from the Stars is a classic by Sylvia Louise Engdahl. If you notice, it's actually an award-winning book. And with this, there are three very different main characters. There's Elena. She is a stowaway on her father, the archaeologist's spaceship, as they approach a planet. There's Jarrell, and Jarrell is a junior medical officer on an Imperium ship. They're about to go conquer a world, even though he feels kind of conflicted about this because he's seen what happens, and they're very not nice to the people they conquer. And there's also Jorn, who's the youngest son of a farmer, but he's hoping he can prove to the Enchantress from the Stars that he's worthy, because there is this terrible, frightening dragon in the enchanted forest, and he needs her help to defeat them. And somehow they're all going to come together in this book. Many of you might know of Margaret Haddox. This is actually the first book that she wrote. It was running out of time. And this one starts off with Jessie and her family. They're living in a frontier town. I believe the year is 1840. And the kids are getting sick. Her mom says it's diphtheria, but there are a lot of secrets in this town. And her mother pulls her aside and behind a rock and tells her that she has to do something terribly frightening. And then gives her these strange pants made of denim and tells her that the year is actually 1996 and only she can save all the children in their town. And the last book that I'm going to share today is by Robert Heinlein. He is a well-known science fiction writer for adults, but he also wrote 4 books that tend to be called Boy Scout books because often the main character is or was a Boy Scout. And that's true in this one, Farmer in the Sky. This one, Bill, he and his father are leaving an overcrowded Earth. They want to become a colonist on one of Jupiter's moons. But being a pioneer is a very dangerous thing, and they're going to face a lot of deadly hardships, and not everyone is going to make it. But here are the part 1 of Juvenile Science Fiction. So, come and see us again for part 2.